Hello, I'm Ryan Furick, Education Minnesota Vice President. Today we've got another topic I wanted to talk to you about that we're going to start hearing some things around. Frontline worker pay. And quite frankly, when we focus on it, we're also looking at the Frontline Worker Pay Working Group. Frontline worker pay was a set-aside value allocated at $250 million that was put into a fund with a work group that was supposed to manage it last year. It should have been quickly implemented and sent out to the essential workers that helped us during the pandemic. The essential workers, and I just want to make sure I label them all, or say as many as I know of that are contained in this list. As far as when we talk about essential workers, we're talking about the school staff, healthcare workers, janitors, security officers, childcare workers, meat packers, and retail grocery store workers that put themselves at risk to provide vital services during the pandemic. These folks are heroes. They should be recognized for the increased workload that they took on during one of our biggest crises. Education Minnesota believes, and we need to believe, that recognizing that extra burden they took on should be acknowledged, as these are some of our lowest paid workers in our systems. They showed up in a pandemic, especially in the beginning, when no one was even sure what was happening. We need to increase the Frontline Worker Pay Fund to $1 billion to compensate all the essential workers that were on the front lines. When this work was done in the work group, it got tied up. And it got tied up because the Republicans in the work group would not deem the acceptable essential workers as who they were. So it was being processed to too limited of a group. Everybody who took on that burden needs to be recognized for that additional part that they put in during our riskiest of time. In order to do that, you have to grow the fund. And quite honestly, the next thing we need to do is we need to make a swift decision. Make these funds easy to access so they can get to the families that need them the most. These are our lowest paid employees and workers and colleagues in our systems. They deserve to have that sacrifice recognized. They deserve to get it recognized now. The longer the money sits there unused, unallocated, and unavailable, it puts more and more of our families at risk. I hope that you will look into and think a little bit more. When you hear about frontline worker pay, dig into it a little bit. Gather a little bit more info, come to your conclusion, but most of all, if we need your help, reach out to your legislator and ask them. Let's pass and let's get that money allocated for the frontline worker pay bill. Thank you. We'll see you next time.